So let's check this out. Bill Maher with Megyn Kelly. Here we go.
Well, in part, it's a diagnosis of what's going on with us right now. And in part, to me, it picks up on something you said to me shortly before I came on your show after my own cancellation at NBC.
And regardless of how you feel about Megyn Kelly, chat, be very respectful. We never judge women based on their looks around here. We only judge them based on their intelligence. That's right? Yeah, that's how we do it. Okay.
BC. And you said, you seem to me, privately, you said, you seem to me kind of like me right now, which is somebody without a political home. And
sure.
I felt...
Is that what is this on her microphone? Is that a COBRA logo? That looks like a G.I. Joe COBRA logo. I need some investigation on this, chat. What is this on her microphone right here? I need to know what that is. That looks like the G.I. Joe COBRA logo. Just saying. All right, here we go.
That way. And I still feel that way. I mean, I've been a registered independent forever, but I know exactly what you're saying. Just the world's lost its mind. Yeah. And I certainly would never put on somebody's team jersey anymore.
Right, without a team.
Yep.
Right. And you know what? I like it that way because I don't want to be a part of a team. I mean, I would say I caucus with the Democrats more. I definitely think the right wing is much more dangerous. They don't believe in democracy anymore, and they threw their lot in with a sociopath named Donald Trump. So, you know, no, he's not.
No, I just okay. I want to talk about your feelings on Trump.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But this is how, so you and I are very similar. I feel like you're kind of a 4 and I'm a 6 on the ideological scale. We have a lot of overlap, but you're definitely still going to vote Democrat, and I'm definitely going to vote Republican. But there's enough commonality to make us shake our heads yes when the other one speaks a lot.
So you're going to vote for Trump?
I am going to vote for Trump, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even understand that. And I understand that Biden is deeply flawed, but he does believe in our way of life. And, you know, I mean, I was the one who was saying from the very beginning.
Biden believes in our way of life. I'm sure Megyn presses him a lot in this interview, but, like, I would love for her to press him on that. What do you mean, our way of life? You mean open borders? You mean inflation through the roof? You mean war all over the world? What the fuck are you talking about? You mean going after your political opponent with force? What are you talking about?
Beginning when everyone was laughing at me that Donald Trump will never give up power. And he didn't. He still hasn't conceded the last election. I don't know what could possibly be more fundamental to you or anyone than you have to concede elections. And he hasn't conceded the last one. He's plainly not going to concede this one. He now has all.
We are talking about a man who was president of the United States of America, who during COVID allowed the states to make up their own minds on how they wanted to handle things. Even situations where the National Guard needed to be called in, he still was like, hey, I'm offering it to you. You know, governors, you have to make up your own mind if you want to take this or whatever. But holy crap, man. Like, this idea that Trump is this dictator is absolutely insane. Good Lord.
Of his sycophants around him parroting his party line, which is when they asked them, will you abide by the election results? Yes, if it's a free and fair election, which is another way of saying if we win. You really think this is a place this country should be?
I'm not going to defend the election denialism. I'm not one of those people who believes that.
But what's more important? What kind of country do we have?
How about my daughter not going into a locker room and seeing a man's penis?
Yay!
That's important too. And
I mean, how about young men?
That's not just important, Bill. That is absolutely vital. That is the line, Bill. Okay, that was pretty cool. Megyn threw that one on him.
You really think this is a place this country should be?
I'm not going to defend the election denialism. I'm not one of those people who believes that.
But what's more important? What kind of country do we have?
How about my daughter not going into a locker room and seeing a man's penis?
That's important too, and
how about young men on college campuses getting due process when they get accused falsely of rape?
Well, I think that's a false equivalency. I think these things
bullshit. What do you mean?
I think these things are important, but you can handle these things through the normal due process of our system. But if we lose the system itself, come on.
But we didn't.
We didn't so far.
He tried it. It failed.
Right. And now he's had 4 years to put in place people who will make it work again. I don't know if there'll be a John Rafsenberger in Georgia, a noble Republican who stood up to him. He thought last time that he could count on someone being just a Republican to do his bidding. And what he found out was that there are a lot of decent people who are Republicans, which is something I'm trying to tell the Democrats.
What would you call what's going on in New York right now? Would you call that Democratic judges doing Biden's bidding? Is that what you'd call that? Like, the fact is you have to be an idiot to think that the last election was completely fair. You're an idiot if you believe that. That's just a bottom line. We all watched it. We all witnessed what happened. We all saw that Donald Trump was up significantly. We all went to bed at like 2 a.m. We woke up the next day because a water pipe had broken and they did something they've never done in history. They stopped counting. And then we wake up the next day and suddenly, magically, Biden has a giant lead. And you're not supposed to question that. You're supposed to go, oh, no big deal. No, it's a little important to question these things and to try to find out what's going on. I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, Bill, but you didn't have a problem with it when Hillary did it, did you? No. You didn't have a problem when they called Trump an illegitimate president for 4 fucking years. You had no problem with that. Russia, 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 all this other bullshit. You had no problem with any of that. All the lies that were spread about Trump, democracy, Russia, 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 collusion, all this bullshit. No problem with that. But oh goodness, Donald Trump questioned an obvious situation that was complete bullshit, and that is a danger to our democracy. Go fuck yourself, Bill Maher. Holy shit. And Bill Maher has me fired up because this is absolutely ridiculous. What he is spewing right now is nonsense. So again, let's get the idea off the table that Bill Maher is one of the normal ones. He's not. TDS is a disease. And if you have any stage of TDS, you are going to be heading in this direction, or maybe you're already there, and that's where he is. Bill Maher has TDS. He cannot be helped. All the time. You can hate Trump. You can't hate everybody who likes him. And you certainly can't hate half the country. And Republicans is not a byword for bad people. And a lot of them stood up. I mean, even ones who I don't like very much, Mitt Romney, McConnell, obviously Liz Cheney, Chris Christie. There were Mike Pence. These are what I call as good as it gets Republican. Holy shit. Let's recap those names real quick. He said Mitt Romney. Holy shit. He said Chris Christie. He said Liz Cheney. He said Mike Pence. Am I forgetting anybody? Who else? Mitch McConnell. He said Mitch McConnell. You literally named probably the 5 worst Republicans on the planet. Holy crap. Holy shit. This is derangement beyond belief. We're only 3 minutes into this video, ladies and gentlemen, and we've already hit next level derangement from Bill Maher. Good Lord. For the people who don't like Republicans, they full-throatedly said Trump lost that election. No two ways about it. McConnell said it wasn't even a particularly close election.
A lot of people said it. A lot of people said it. But look, I agree with you that the majority of the Republican Party doesn't believe that. But I do think there's a difference between... I disagree. Well,
it's hard to say majority of the Republican Party. I think the majority of Americans believe that it was... there was some issues with the election. You might not have like full-fledged like people with like full-on like hardcore MAGA, beliefs on it. But I think the majority of the country probably says there's clearly something going on here. There's clearly something going on.
It was stolen, the nonsense with Dominion voting machines and all that versus it wasn't fair. And
what wasn't fair?
The election. Don't get me started. What wasn't fair?
Okay. Well, the
How
election.
About the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story? Just for one.
There you go.
For fuck's sake, really? Oh, then we're not as alike as you think. That's a stupid non-story. I mean, yes.
Says who? There are polls that show some 10.
Whoa! If it's a non-story, then why was it suppressed? Why did all of the big tech companies work together, colluded to make sure it didn't get out if it's a non-story? If it's a non-story, why was it suppressed? The fact that we're talking about the suppression of the story confirms that it was absolutely a big story, or it wouldn't have been suppressed in the first place. Holy shit.
That's a stupid non-story. I mean, yes.
Says who? There are polls that show some 10 to 12% of the electorate says they would have changed their mind had they seen it, had they known about it.
It wasn't right. It wasn't right to suppress it, but nobody gives a fuck about Hunter Biden's dick.
Okay, again, Megyn Kelly's a great journalist. I'm not saying I'm a fan of her, okay, but she's obviously. I wish she would say, like, you're admitting it was suppressed. How can you, at the same time, Bill Maher, how can you say it's not a big deal, but you're admitting it's suppressed? Bill, if it's not a big deal, then why was it suppressed? I just wish she would ask him that question. If it's not a big deal, your words, then why was it suppressed? You also admitted it was suppressed. Why was it suppressed if it's not a big deal? Why? Just answer that question for me, Bill.
Suppress it, but nobody gives a fuck about Hunter Biden's dick.
Nobody. You're talking about yourself. I'm telling you, there are data to show people did care. They said they would have changed their vote.
Nobody who was going to vote for Trump anyway, or Biden anyway. I mean,
it wasn't about Hunter Biden's man parts. It was about the scandal of his corruption and his dad's corruption. Bill, I used to think that Hunter Biden was a hot mess and Joe Biden was embarrassed by him but had to deal. Now I really think he was doing Joe Biden's bidding. Joe Biden is the bad guy who sent his drug-addled son out there to collect money. That's what the laptop shows.
And that's more important than what I was bringing up about not abiding by election results, not respecting what always made this country great, the peaceful transference of power.
I don't disagree with you on that. You're not going to get me to say it was a great thing the way Trump behaved.
I don't have to get you to agree or disagree. You're obviously someone who looks at an elephant and a mouse and cannot tell which one is bigger.
I disagree. I think
I know.
That's projection by you, because I look at Joe
Biden.
That's
that's how I see you.
Well, let's talk about.
Why are you telling me this? I mean, this is just typical right-wing talking points. The evil Hunter Biden and the evil Joe Biden. And look, do I like them? No, I don't particularly like them. I think they're very flawed.
Listen.
It's not nearly on the scale.
You're misstating my argument. You're misstating my argument. That Hunter Biden just now on the laptop was brought up as evidence of how the election was not fair.
Correct.
He's not a reason necessarily to not vote for Joe Biden. The reason not to vote for Joe Biden is his policies. You're not woke. He's as woke, or at least his policies are, as they come.
Wait, did Megyn, is she saying Bill Maher's not woke? Bill Maher is woke.
Necessarily to not vote for Joe Biden. The reason not to vote for Joe Biden is his policies. You're not woke. He's as woke, or at least his policies are, as they come. The open border bill? How could anybody vote for somebody who keeps this border open with the number of rapes and the number of murders and the numbers of crimes going on with these immigrants?
But again, these are the normal sorts of issues we've always had in this country that should be taken care of through the normal process we've had. You're talking about the difference between I'm talking about the difference between this and something fundamental, which is our democracy. The fact that you have to respect who wins an election, or else you...
Notice how he doesn't even mention the fucking border. He doesn't even want to talk about the fucking border. He wants to talk about the peaceful transfer of power and all that bullshit. Oh, my goodness.
We don't have the kind of country we've always had before.
How about...
I mean, I feel like we keep going around the roseberry bush about this, and we're not going to make any progress, so let's stop talking about it. But...
you keep saying sort of I'm nuts because I don't see the difference between the elephant and the mouse, and I'm telling you I identify them differently than you do. Hillary Clinton, of course, is the original election denier. I'm sure you voted for her in 2016.
Well, she's not an election denier.
She absolutely was the OG election denier.
First of all, she came out before the sun had risen. To concede the election to Trump.
And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
She literally said it more times than I can count that he was illegitimate.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
He knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did.
She blamed Russia collusion. She blamed so many things on it. And again, that's fine. I'm not saying she can't. There's nothing wrong with the fact that she did that. She can say whatever she wants. The fact is, though, they didn't like it when Trump said the same thing. So Hillary spent 4 years of Trump crying and whining, saying he was illegitimate, saying there was Russia collusion and all of this other bullshit. And yet when Trump does it, suddenly you can't threaten our democracy like that. It's absolute bullshit. Let's back it up a little bit.
Legitimate president. And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
Yes, she did.
You tell me exactly what she said.
She said those exact words repeatedly.
Okay, I mean, she conceded the election. Whether you're interpreting her disappointment at losing it as the same thing as Trump not conceding it, I don't know if that's where you're getting it from. But again, it's a tremendous false equivalency. You could ask Hillary Clinton right now who won that election. She will tell you. Donald Trump won the election.
Now she knows she has to because of what Trump has done.
She came out that night
in her
dark purple suit and conceded the election.
Correct. And then spent the next 4 years trying to convince us it was not legitimate. I'm just saying, look, it's not the same as Trump. What Trump did was far more severe. I'm not going to deny that, but don't.
Hold on now. Hold on. What Trump did is far more severe. What did Trump do? Trump left the White House when he was supposed to. He still never conceded completely. He has done everything he can legally to try to prove his case. And he's had corrupt judges and he's had corrupt politicians stand in his way, but he has done everything by the book, even though the book has been completely corrupted. What has Trump done? And this is where Megyn's trying to come off as like, yeah, I'm supporting Trump, but I'm going to admit that this, that, or the other, because there always has to be these like caveats with it.
And then spent the next 4 years trying to convince us it was not legitimate. I'm just saying, look, it's not the same as Trump. What Trump did was far more severe. I'm not going to deny that, but don't try to tell me that Hillary Clinton wasn't an election denier, and Jamie Raskin, and a whole host of Democrats who are now in prominent positions on Capitol Hill. Doesn't make it great what Trump did, but they don't have clean hands either. But you bypass the immigration question. I mean, like that.
I'm not
a lot
bypassing
of
it. I think it's a disaster.
How would you put this guy back in there for 4 more years to leave the doors open?
And like it was so much better under Trump?
Yes, it was better under Trump. Are you kidding me?
It was somewhat better.
Oh, Bill.
It was somewhat better.
Go look up the immigration rates.
What? What are we doing? What planet does this man live on where he says that immigration under Trump wasn't better? Holy fuck. This is insanity. My God, we got to back that up one more time.
They don't have clean hands either. But you bypass the immigration question. I mean, like that.
I'm not
a lot
bypassing
of
it. I think it's a disaster.
How would you put this guy back in there for 4 more years to leave the doors open?
And like it was so much better under Trump?
Yes, it was better under Trump. Are you kidding me?
It was somewhat better.
Oh, Bill.
It was somewhat better.
Go look up the immigration rates.
Yeah, I know.
Illegal immigration rates.
I agree.
For 2020, for 19 to 20.
I'm not defending Biden on immigration. I don't understand why it's so difficult in this country to stop people coming through the border. I don't. And I watched that 60 Minutes piece they did on it a couple of months ago, and they had films of people coming through this hole and the border patrol just watching them and basically waving. I don't understand why. I don't understand why this country can't accomplish something like that. It doesn't seem like it's impossible. But so many things in this country.
That's what's so aggravating. We can accomplish it. We can stop what's happening at the southern border. We just won't under Joe Biden. And he keeps pretending like he has no agency on it, but he does have agency. There are a lot of executive orders he could do, just like Trump did. He won't. And you know why? It's because of the people who use the word Latinx, who are trying to lecture him that it's not humane to enforce our border.
No, Megyn. It's because Joe Biden's not in charge of anything. Joe Biden doesn't make decisions. Joe Biden has no power. Joe Biden doesn't know what day of the week it is. He doesn't know what planet he's on. Joe Biden's making no decisions at all. None. Like, I'll give Megyn some credit because she's a little more like transparent and a little more open with talking now that she's like doing her independent stuff, but she's still a mainstream media personality at the end of the day. And there's only so much she's willing to say. Joe Biden's not making any fucking decisions at all. Nothing. There's not one fucking decision that has any relevance to the country or anything that Joe Biden doesn't even decide what diaper to wear every morning, much less what's going on in the country. Someone else is deciding what diaper Joe Biden wears. The fact that she's trying to argue that Joe Biden is making any decisions is insane, because he's not, and we all know that.
And he keeps pretending like he has no agency on it, but he does have agency. There are a lot of executive orders he could do, just like Trump did. He won't. And you know why? It's because of the people who use the word Latinx, who are trying to lecture him that it's not humane to enforce our borders.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The left wing, because they're so afraid always of being called racist, they let that color every issue and very often wind up with terrible policies.
So there you go. Megyn Kelly, I think that was the end of it right there. Yeah, that's the end of it right there. So look, man, I mean, it was a good interview. Megyn Kelly does pretty decent work, but Bill Maher is an absolute nut job. Like, my goodness, that dude is out of his mind. He is out of his mind.